My name is Rachel Young. I'm 38 years old. Tonight my own sister seated my family next to the air conditioners right at her engagement party. While everyone else clinks champagne glasses under chandeliers and fairy lights, my husband and kids and I are hugging the back corner of a Malibu rooftop, right by the service door with the squeaky hinge and the blast of cold air every time a waiter kicks it open. From here, we have a perfect view of the life we're apparently not good enough for. The main area glows near the glass railing, panoramic ocean, designer dresses, a private bar just for VIPs. In the very center, under an arch of white roses, my younger sister Kayla sparkles in her almost bridal dress, laughing with her fiancé like this glittering world has always belonged to her. And like we're just visiting from somewhere beneath it. A little earlier, before we ended up exiled by the air conditioners, the elevator doors opened straight into chaos. Music, chatter, the smell of truffle something. I stepped out first, smoothing my dress, with my husband Leon behind me and our kids, Lily and Noah, dragging their feet, still arguing about who got the window seat in the Uber from the hotel. "Hi, you must be." A man in a fitted black suit swooped toward us, clutching a tablet. He glanced at my face, then down at the screen, barely letting me finish saying, "Rachel," before his finger jabbed at a line. Right, he cut in, already half turned away. "The family from Colorado. Got you. Not Kayla's sister. Not the bride's family. Just a line item on his spreadsheet, labeled by the state we live in." "The family from Colorado?" Lily mouthed to Noah, raising her eyebrows. He snickered, then went quiet when he realized the guy wasn't kidding. "If you'll follow me," the organizer said, already walking. We followed him like a little parade of misfits. First, we passed a long table dressed in white linen and flowers, with gold acrylic name cards that curled elegantly over the plates. I saw names I recognized from Kayla's Instagram captions: investors, entrepreneurs, some singer she'd taken a yacht photo with last summer. Their table was right on the edge, closest to the ocean, where the sunset would frame every shot. Next came the photo zone. A neon sign with Kayla and her fiancé's initials glowed over a wall of white roses. A photographer adjusted a woman's hair, then had her do that fake mid-laugh pose while another guest fixed her designer blazer. I caught a glimpse of my reflection in one of the tall mirrors there. Decent dress, slightly frizzy hair from the Malibu air, cheap earrings that suddenly felt like they were pulsing in my lobes. The organizer never slowed down. We passed a separate bar tucked under a canopy, stocked with every kind of bottle imaginable. There were crystal decanters, custom cocktail napkins with gold initials, and two bartenders shaking drinks in sync. A small sign read VIP bar in curling script, as if to make sure no one accidentally thought it was for everyone. I opened my mouth to ask where our parents were seated, but he cut sharply around another elegantly set table, and I had to hurry to keep up. The further we went, the smaller the centerpieces became, the fewer candles, the dimmer the lighting. Finally, he stopped at the very edge of the rooftop, right next to a gray service door with a push bar and a scuffed staff-only sign. Behind it, I heard someone shout, "Coming through," and the clatter of trays and plates. Above our heads, two large air conditioning units hummed loudly, blowing out a steady stream of cold air. "Here we go," he said briskly, tapping his tablet again. "Table 9. For family from Colorado." He pulled out a chair with a quick, efficient motion, the kind you use when you've done it 100 times and don't need to look at the people. Then he gave us a professional smile that didn't quite reach his eyes and hurried off before I could even say thank you. The cloth was slightly wrinkled. Our centerpiece was a small glass jar with a few white flowers, already wilting at the edges. From where we stood, the main area looked like a different world entirely, glowing at the front of the rooftop, thick with laughter and light and people who obviously mattered. Lily shifted closer to me, rubbing her arms against the sudden draft. Noah craned his neck, taking in the distance between our table and the ones near the railing. "Guess we're not VIP," he whispered with a small, uncertain smile. I swallowed the tightness in my throat. One moment Kayla was surrounded by people in glittering dresses and sharp suits, tilting her head towards a man in a blazer that probably cost more than my entire outfit. The next, her eyes slid past the sea of faces, landed on our corner, and stayed there just a second too long. Her smile didn't falter, but it changed. It went from real to prepared. A few minutes later, she broke away from her circle and started walking toward us, holding a champagne flute by the stem. "Ratch," she sang out, just loud enough for nearby tables to hear. She leaned in and did that air kiss thing, her perfume hitting me before she did. Her mouth brushed my cheek, but there was no warmth in it. "You made it," she said, as if she'd half expected us not to. "Yeah," I answered. "We wouldn't miss it." Kayla stepped back to look us over properly, her gaze moving from Leon's navy blazer to his well-worn shoes, then to Lily's denim jacket and sneakers, Noah's slightly crooked tie. Her smile stretched wider. "You guys are adorable," she said, with a bright little laugh. "So Colorado." She tilted her head toward my husband, like she was appreciating a museum piece. "Leon, you look very practical," she added. "I like that you don't bother with all the designer peacocking. It's really refreshing." If anyone else had said it, it might have sounded like a compliment. From her, with that tiny pause on practical, it came out like, "I see you couldn't keep up even if you tried." Leon just smiled politely, the way he does in meetings when someone underestimates him. Then her attention slid to me. "And you," she said, touching my arm. "Still at that little charity, right? Helping people with whatever it is. It's so sweet. Honestly, we need more people like you doing small, meaningful things. Not everyone is built for high-pressure, big-money environments." There it was, wrapped in silk, tipped with a needle. I felt my stomach knot, but I nodded. "Yeah, still there." There were a few guests lingering near us now, half-turned in their chairs, listening. Her voice had the perfect volume for unintentional eavesdropping. Kayla glanced at Lily and Noah, her smile taking on a performative brightness. "And look at you two. Oh my God, you're so big now." Lily ducked her head, tucking her hair behind her ear. Noah gave a stiff little wave. Kayla's eyes dropped to Lily's sneakers, lingering on the scuffed rubber and hand-painted details. Her lips pursed in that almost invisible way I remembered from childhood, when she'd look at something and mentally decide whether it was worthy of her world. "Love the vintage vibe," she said. "Is that, like, a thing in Colorado now? Thriftcore?" She laughed lightly. "It's very authentic. People pay a lot of money in LA to look like they don't care what they're wearing." Her gaze flicked to the denim jacket, the faded seams, the embroidery Lily had done herself. "It's so cute," my sister added. Lily's cheeks flushed. She pulled the jacket a little tighter, like she could hide inside it. Kayla took a tiny sip of champagne, then turned slightly so the guests behind her had a clear view of us. Her voice lifted and bright. "Everyone," she said, with a little wave of her glass, "this is my family from Colorado. They're these cute simpletons from the provinces who live in the sticks and are not used to this level." A few people chuckled, the polite kind of laugh you give when you're not sure if something's actually funny, but the hostess said it. I felt my face heat up, not just from embarrassment, but from the old, familiar mix of shame and anger that came with being translated into something smaller. I smiled anyway, the way I had been trained to do my whole life around her, and said the only thing that felt safe to say. "We're happy to be here," I murmured. Even as a small, hard part of me whispered that maybe we shouldn't be. The first time Noah sees the dessert table up close, his whole face lights up. It happens a little later, after Kayla drifts back toward the VIP bar and the music shifts to something a little louder. A server announces that the first wave of appetizers and amuse-bouches is ready, and people begin to get up, heels clicking on the stone floor, laughter rising with the clink of forks on tiny plates. Noah watches the movement like it's a starting gun. "Mom," he whispers, eyes already locked on the long table at the center of the rooftop. "Can we go now? Please?" I saw those little cheesecakes when we came in. The ones with the blueberries on top. "I just want to look." His voice has that mix of excitement and politeness he uses when he really wants something and is trying hard not to be a pest. I glance at Leon. He gives me a small nod. "Okay," I tell Noah. "But we're just looking for now. Take a small plate and don't pile it too high." Lily stays behind, pretending to scroll her phone. I stand up and walk with Noah toward the center of the rooftop, already feeling like we're stepping onto someone else's stage. The appetizer table really is beautiful. White platters arranged in perfect lines, tiny bites in miniature spoons, little glasses filled with layered colored mousses, and yes, rows of glossy cheesecakes, each with a single berry and a dab of something shiny on top. Noah's hand tightens around his small plate. Whoa, he breathes. They look fake. He reaches his hand toward one of the cheesecakes, hesitating for just a second like he's not sure if he's allowed. That's when Kayla appears. She materializes from the side like she has her own internal radar for anything that might ruin the aesthetic. Champagne still in hand, she slides between Noah and the table with a smooth little step, her smile bright and perfectly placed. Whoa, buddy, she says lightly, catching his wrist just before his fingers touch the dessert. Her voice is gentle but pitched loud enough. Careful there. Noah startles, eyes going wide. I'm sorry, he blurts. I thought we could. It's not that, she interrupts, laughing a little. It's just, these are kind of complicated flavors for someone who's not used to haute cuisine. She looks down at the cheesecakes, then at Noah, then at me, like she's explaining something reasonable. You know, lots of layers, unusual ingredients, very delicate. It's more of an acquired taste. I don't want you to waste it or spit it out in front of everyone. She grins like this is all a joke. How about we find you something simpler, like at home, okay? Like at home. Noah repeats slowly. Kayla nods, turning slightly so a couple standing near us can hear. Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing you guys are more into fast food than fine dining, right? Burgers, fries, cheesy pizza, that kind of thing. Totally nothing wrong with that, she adds quickly, raising her free hand. These chefs work with flavors people here are more accustomed to. Her eyes flick toward the VIP tables as she says people here, and a few guests chuckle politely, pretending not to stare. Noah's ears turn red. He lowers his plate a little. I like cheesecakes, he mutters. We have them in Colorado too. I feel something twist in my chest, but my voice comes out calm. It's fine, I tell him softly. We can grab something else. Kayla beams like I've proven her point. Exactly, she stated. There are sliders and fries over on the side station. Real comfort food. Much more your speed. I made sure to include those options because I knew not everyone would be used to, you know, foie gras and truffle foam. Noah swallows, staring at the cheesecakes he's suddenly not reaching for anymore. Okay, he says, barely audible. I touch his shoulder. Come on, honey. Let's go back to our table. We'll see what else comes around. I give Kayla a small smile, the kind that doesn't show teeth. Thanks, I say, because I don't know what else to say without making a scene. Of course, she answers brightly. I just want everyone to feel comfortable. Different circles, different tastes, right? She gives a tiny shrug, as if she's just stating a neutral fact about the weather. I walk Noah back toward our lonely corner, his plate still empty, his shoulders just a little more hunched. The air gets colder the closer we get to the service door, the hum of the air conditioners louder than the music now. Lily disappears to the bathroom between courses, mumbling something about fixing her eyeliner. I watch her weave through the tables, hugging the edges, denim jacket pulled tight around her. She's gone longer than I expect. I keep glancing toward the hallway near the elevators, my fingers folding and unfolding my napkin. Leon is talking quietly with Noah about school, but I can tell he's keeping half an eye on me, waiting for the moment I finally say, we're leaving. Then I see her. Lily walks back toward our table with her head down, chin tucked to her chest. Her eyes are shiny, and the tip of her nose is pink. She moves fast, like she's trying to outrun something. I stand up as she reaches us. Hey, I say softly. What's wrong? She shakes her head, biting her lower lip. Nothing. Her voice cracks on the word. I put a hand on her arm. Lily, talk to me. She swallows hard, blinking quickly. It's stupid, she whispers. Forget it. Noah looks from her to me worried. Leon straightens in his chair. I gently guide her back into her seat, crouching next to her so where I level. The air from the AC unit brushes the back of my neck. I ignore the chill. Did something happen? I ask. In the bathroom? Her face twists for a second, but then, The words spill out in a low rush. They were talking about my shoes, she says. Those girls by the mirror. The older ones. I was washing my hands, and they were fixing their lipstick, and they thought I couldn't hear them. I feel my jaw tense. What did they say? She wipes under one eye with the heel of her hand. One of them asked if my sneakers were from a donation bin. She said they looked like poor people's shoes. The other one said it was kind of cute that I was committed to the bit, trying to look broke for attention. Heat rushes to my face. I look down at the sneakers I watched her scrub and repaint at our kitchen table for hours, the ones she was so proud of packing. She said, Lily adds, voice barely audible, I must be from some discount town or something. That it fit the vibe. A sharp, ugly pain blooms in my chest. I take a breath, forcing my voice to stay steady. Hey, I say, reaching up to tuck a loose strand of hair behind her ear. Look at me. She hesitates, then lifts her eyes to mine. There is nothing wrong with your shoes, I tell her. Or your jacket. Or you. Those girls were being cruel for fun. That's all. Her lip trembles. Yeah, well, it worked. I open my mouth to say more, but a familiar scent of perfume hits me a second before the voice does. Everything okay over here? Kayla's tone is bright, fake concerned. I stand slowly. She's flanked by a few guests now, 2 women in shimmering dresses and a tall man. They've all got drinks in their hands and that slightly bored, entertained expression of people waiting to be amused. Kayla's eyes flick from Lily's red-rimmed eyes to Noah's hunched shoulders, then to me. A slow, knowing smirk spreads across her face. Oh, Ratch, she says, are the kids overwhelmed? I stiffen. They're fine, I reply. We're just... She cuts me off with a little laugh, tilting her head. You have to understand, she says, gesturing toward my children with the hand holding her glass. There's no place for your discount store kids at this party. The words land like a slap. I hear one of the women suck in a tiny breath. Someone else lets out a shocked little laugh. I just mean it's a lot, you know? For kids from the sticks. These social circles can be harsh. People notice everything: brands, shoes, how you carry yourself. Lily flinches almost imperceptibly at the word shoes. Kayla presses on, as if she's delivering a public service announcement. I just don't want them to feel out of place, she says breezily. They're not from this tier. Noah stares at his hands, his jaw tight in a way I've never seen on his 11-year-old face. Leon is very still, watching Kayla with the kind of calm that makes me nervous, because I know what lives under it. I take a slow breath, the decision settling into my bones before I fully put it into words. I look at Leon. He's already looking at me, his eyes asking a quiet, simple question. Are you done? I feel my throat tighten. So I nod once. I push my chair back. The metal leg scrapes softly against the stone floor, but it sounds loud to me. Final. Then I put a hand on Lily's shoulder. We're leaving, I say quietly. Lily's head snaps up. What? Her eyes go wide, like she thinks I'm joking. Noah looks between us. But... We're done, I repeat, softer this time, but there's no wobble in my voice now. Get your things. Leon stands up without a word, slipping his phone into his pocket, his chair sliding back smoothly. He rests a reassuring hand on Noah's back, guiding him to his feet. I feel lightheaded. All the little humiliations of the evening line up in my mind. We gather our jackets and bags in a flurry. Lily pulls off her napkin and clutches her denim jacket to her chest. Noah grabs the little program card and shoves it into his pocket like a souvenir he's not sure he wants. We're almost ready to move when Kayla notices. Whoa, whoa, she says, laughing lightly as she steps closer. What's going on here? Her voice is bright, curious, but there's a sharper edge underneath. I straighten. We're heading out, I tell her. It's been a long day. The kids are tired. It's the politest version of the truth I can manage. Kayla raises her eyebrows dramatically, glancing around to see who's watching. A few nearby guests have turned their chairs slightly, a living semicircle of curiosity. Her fiancé has drifted a little closer too, one hand in his pocket, expression carefully neutral. Tired, she repeats, like it's a foreign concept. Already? It's late for them, I say. We've got an early start tomorrow. My voice is steady, but my heart is pounding. She gives a slow, exaggerated nod, as if she's considering my words very seriously. I mean, she says, if you're uncomfortable, that's your choice. I get it. These events can be a lot. Her eyes flick down to Lily's sneakers again, then back up. But she continues, turning now so she's half facing her guests and half facing me. You have to understand that I have to maintain the level of the event. And my image. Especially in front of investors. A couple of people near the VIP bar glance over. Someone whispers something behind a hand. I feel my cheeks burning. Kayla smiles, spreading her arms a little, as if to indicate the entire rooftop. This isn't a backyard barbecue, Ratch. This is my engagement party. In my house. With my partners, my clients, and people who've flown in from all over. There's a certain format to these things. Her tone is light, but every syllable is designed to land. If your family is uncomfortable, she goes on, then honestly, it's probably better if you head out. There's no point forcing yourselves to stay if you don't fit the format of this crowd. I can feel eyes on us from every direction now. Everything in me wants to sink into the chair, disappear through the floor, anything but stand here and let her talk about us like we're a problem she's politely removing. Leon shifts slightly beside me, but he still doesn't speak. His presence is a solid, quiet warmth at my back. I wouldn't want there to be tension, Kayla adds, her smile sharpening. This night should be seamless. For everyone. Her fiancé chuckles lightly, like she said something clever and mutters, "Gotta protect the brand, right?" under his breath. A few people laugh along. I lift my chin. We're good, I say quietly. We're just leaving. I place my hand firmly on Lily's shoulder and nod toward the exit. Leon guides Noah ahead of us. We begin to walk, our little family of discount store kids from Colorado, moving through the glow and the whispers and the clinking glasses, away from the life my sister is so desperate to prove we don't belong in. We're almost at the glass doors that lead back to the elevators when it happens. Right in front of the doors, Leon stops. It's abrupt enough that Noah bumps into him. He turns his head, looking back over his shoulder toward the glowing middle of the rooftop. His face is calm, but there's a new, resolute stillness in him. I've seen that look before, but never directed at our family. Stay here a second, he says quietly to me. I frown. Leon. He gives me a look. Not asking my permission exactly, but checking. Giving me one more fork in the road. Do we just leave and let this night be what it is? Or do we finally stop pretending? Something in my chest, raw and tired and furious, tips. I nod. He exhales once, as if that's what he was waiting for, then turns fully back toward the party. Kayla, he calls out, not loudly, but with a firmness that cuts clean through the music. She's only a few tables away, basking in a knot of guests near the VIP bar. Her head turns, annoyed at being interrupted, then she sees Leon standing by the exit with us gathered around him. She pastes on a puzzled little smile and walks over, her fiancé trailing behind with his drink. What's up? She asks, stopping a few feet away, eyebrows lifted. I thought you guys were heading out. Leon nods. We are, he says evenly. But before we go, I think we should quickly discuss the house. There's a slight ripple in the air around us. The event organizer freezes by the bar, with tablet in hand. Kayla laughs, a brittle little sound. The house, she repeats. What about it? The penthouse, Leon clarifies. This one. He gestures lightly around us at the string lights, the glass railings, the carefully staged flower arch. Her fiancé shifts, suddenly more alert. Is there some problem with the caterer or something? He asks. Because if this is about staff, we can take it offline, man. Tonight is. It's not about the staff, Leon interrupts, still calm. It's about ownership. I feel my pulse speed up. I know where this is going. We have never talked about it in front of anyone, but I know the basics. I'd watched him sign documents at our kitchen table 3 years ago. I'd heard the late-night phone calls with his lawyer. I'd seen the way he'd quietly wired funds and never mentioned it to my parents or Kayla. Kayla crosses her arms lightly, some of the color rising in her cheeks. Leon, she says, tone warning, this really isn't the time for. Actually, he says, a little louder now, I think it might be. He takes his phone out of his jacket pocket, unlocks it with his thumb, and taps a few times. The screen glows in the dim rooftop light. I've listened all night, he continues, not raising his voice, but speaking clearly enough that anyone nearby can hear. To where we were seated. To the way you spoke about my wife. My kids. To this being your house and your party and your level. My throat tightens. Kayla's mouth flattens, her eyes darting around as if to check how many people are watching. Leon turns the phone so the screen faces her and her fiancé. So before we leave, I thought we should all be clear on what exactly belongs to whom. On the screen is a PDF clean, legal text, company letterhead at the top. Even from a step away, I recognize the logo. I've seen it on his laptop, on documents he brings home from board meetings. This building, Leon says, his voice still maddeningly calm, is owned by Horizon West Holdings. That's the parent company anyway. He taps the top of the document with his finger. This is the property portfolio. See that line? He scrolls slightly. Malibu, oceanfront, penthouse level. Your unit. Kayla's fiancé squints at the screen. So, he says slowly, Horizon West is our landlord, yeah. We've met their rep. What's your point? Leon doesn't look away. I'm the chairman of Horizon West. The words drop like stones. Conversation at the closest table stutters. Somebody's laugh cuts off mid-sound. Even the music feels suddenly too far away. Kayla blinks. What? She says. Leon nods once. Chairman and majority owner, he adds. Have been for a while now. Her fiancé lets out a disbelieving scoff. Come on, he says. Seriously? Leon swipes to another document. Here, he says. Current board composition. That's my name at the top. And here's the shareholder breakdown. He angles the screen so they can both see. I catch a brief glimpse. His name, a percentage significantly higher than the rest. That means, he goes on in the same even tone, that this penthouse you keep calling your house is, in fact, an asset held by the company I control. Kayla's eyes flick rapidly between his face and the glowing screen, her mask slipping for the first time. Her confident hostess expression cracks around the edges, confusion and something like fear seeping through. You never said, she stammers. You never asked, Leon replies. Her fiancé swallows, his jaw clenching. Why would you be our landlord? He demands. We signed with some property manager. Some woman from the management firm we contract with, Leon finishes for him. She reports to our office. When your application came in 3 years ago, they flagged it because of the last names. He glances at Kayla. You remember that call, Ratch, he adds quietly, and I nod. I do remember. I remember him coming into the kitchen, phone pressed to his ear, mouthing, it's about Kayla with raised eyebrows. The team asked if it was a conflict of interest to rent to a family member. Leon continues. They sent me your file. Income, references, all of it. They also sent me the proposed rent. Kayla swallows, her lipstick suddenly too bright against the sudden paleness in her face. Leon scrolls again, to another document, an internal memo, this time. This is the note I sent back, he says. Authorizing a preferential rate. Freezing it for 3 years. Approving that any difference between what you paid and market value would be quietly covered out of my family fund. He doesn't say the amount yet. I know he's holding back, saving that for whatever comes next. Her amazing deal. Her bragging about knowing how to negotiate. The way she'd told our parents she'd leveraged her network to get a penthouse in Malibu at a steal. It was him. It was always him. Kayla stares at the glowing screen as if it's betraying her. You, what? She whispers. You paid extra? Leon shrugs slightly. We gave you a family discount, he says simply. Froze your rent when the rest of the building went up. Covered the gap so you could live here and build your brand without worrying about the numbers getting in the way. He doesn't put any venom on the word brand. It almost makes it worse. People who've only ever seen Kayla as the shining center of this perfect rooftop world shift in their seats, recalibrating. So when you say this is your house, Leon finishes quietly, what you really mean is, this is the apartment you've been renting, at a heavily reduced rate, from the company your brother-in-law owns and personally subsidizes. That's what this is. For once, Kayla has no quick comeback. Her mouth opens, then closes. The wind brushes my hair. The ocean crashes far below. Glasses clink somewhere in the background. Up here, though, it's silent. When Kayla finally finds her voice, it comes out thin. Why would you even do that without telling us? Leon's expression doesn't change. Because you're our family, he says simply. And because Rachel asked me not to make a big deal out of it. It's true. When he first told me what he was planning to do, I'd insisted we keep it quiet. I didn't want our help to become another thing Kayla used to perform for an audience. Leon glances briefly at me, then back at her. But since you've made it very clear tonight who belongs here and who doesn't, he adds, I think clarity is overdue. He scrolls again, then taps the screen. Over the past 3 years, market rent for this unit has increased significantly. You've been paying the same amount you started with. The difference has been covered by us. Every single month. There's a rustling around us as people shift in their seats. I see the event organizer pretending to check his tablet, ears clearly straining. In total, Leon continues, that hidden assistance comes to just over $180,000. Someone actually gasps. Kayla's fiancé swears under his breath. 180,000, Leon repeats, calm as if he's reading a weather report. So that you could host investors here. Throw parties. Post that view on social media whenever you needed content. Build this life, you know. Kayla shakes her head, as if the number itself is offensive. That's not possible, she says. We're not charity cases. Correct, Leon says evenly. Charity is what my wife does at her little nonprofit. This was a business decision with a personal component. I approved it because you're Rachel's sister. I thought giving you a soft landing in LA would help you grow. I assumed, he adds, and for the first time there's the faintest edge in his voice, you wouldn't turn around and use that platform to humiliate my own family. Her mouth opens, but no words come out again. Leon locks his phone and slips it back into his pocket, like the documents are no longer up for debate. Either way, he says, the arrangement ends now. Her fiancé stiffens. What does that mean, exactly? Leon looks at him directly. It means I've already instructed our management company not to renew your preferential contract. In 30 days, your lease at this rate will end. If you wish to stay, you'll need to reapply at full market value with the same screening process as everyone else in the building. No freezes. No subsidies. Kayla's voice shoots up half an octave. You can't be serious. 30 days? You can't just. I can, Leon says quietly. And I am. She glances around desperately, as if someone might jump in and declare this a misunderstanding. No one moves. And only a few people suddenly find their drinks fascinating. This is my home, she says, her voice trembling now. My whole image is tied to this place. People know me as the girl with the Malibu penthouse and the rooftop parties. I know, Leon cuts in. I've heard you say it. A lot. He pauses, letting the words settle. That's kind of the point. He looks around then, not just at her but at the cluster of guests, the people who've watched this whole thing unfold. You talk a lot about class, he says. About levels. Circles. Formats. Tonight you made very sure everyone knew which side of that line you think we're on. He puts his hand on Lily's back. Noah stands closer to me, shoulders square. But here's the thing, Leon continues, and now his voice carries a little further. Real class isn't about the label inside your jacket. Or the address on your invitations. It's not about a view or a brand or who's on your guest list. He nods once toward the VIP bar, the flower wall, the perfect arch. All of this, he says, can be bought with someone else's money, apparently. It can be staged. It can be subsidized. He looks back at Kayla. Her eyes are wet now, though she's fighting it hard. Real class is how you treat people, Leon says. Especially the ones you think are below you. The ones seated by the air conditioners. The kid reaching for a cheesecake. The girl in sneakers you decide to mock in a bathroom. The family from Colorado you label as second-rate while standing on a rooftop their money helped pay for. The silence after that is heavier than any music. Our family, he continued, doesn't mind being mistaken for middle class or practical or from the sticks. We live within our means. We help quietly. We don't need to prove anything with rented views. His gaze doesn't waver. But we will not subsidize a version of high society that depends on putting other people down. That ends tonight. He steps back then, as if he's just closed a meeting, and turns slightly toward me and the kids. We're done here, he says softly, just for us. The elevator ride down feels longer than it is. No music, just the soft whoosh of floors passing. Lily leans into me, Noah leans into Leon, and nobody says a word. When the doors open into the underground parking lot, the air changes. Our SUV waits where we left it, dusty from the drive from Colorado, bug splatters on the bumper, reusable grocery bags crumpled in the back. It looks almost comforting. Leon unlocks it with a chirp. The kids climb in without being told where to sit. They go to their usual spots like muscle memory. I slide into the passenger seat, my dress bunching awkwardly under the seatbelt. Leon starts the engine, and the familiar hum steadies me more than anything else has all night. We pull out of the garage and back onto the highway, Malibu glitter shrinking in the rearview mirror. The further we get from the coast, the more my shoulders relax. The party becomes just lights behind us. The kids watch the darkness outside, phones forgotten. I stare at the glowing dash, the line of the road our headlights carve ahead. It's Lily who finally breaks the silence. Can I ask something? She says, voice small but clear. Always, Leon answers. She hesitates, then blurts, why didn't you tell us? About the money. About the company. About owning that place. Noah twists in his seat to look at us. Yeah, he adds. We could have shut them down, like, hours ago. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Leon glances at me, then back to the road. Because, he says slowly, we didn't want money to be the most important thing about us. Or about you. Lily frowns. But you let them talk to us like that. Like we were less. His hands tighten slightly on the wheel. I let them show who they really were, he says. Sometimes that's worth more than correcting people right away. He pauses, choosing his words. There's a difference between being quiet and being powerless. We weren't powerless tonight. We were patient. I look at his profile, the calm lines of his face lit by passing headlights. True wealth, he goes on, isn't about waving your bank account around every time someone disrespects you. It's about knowing you could and choosing when it actually matters. It's the ability to protect your family, to restore justice without shouting or bragging, to walk away when you want to and to speak up when you need to. He glances at Lily in the rearview mirror. If I had led with money, Kayla would have acted different all night. Fake nice. Careful. You wouldn't have seen how she really feels about people from the sticks or discount kids. But now you know. And so does everyone who watched. Lily is quiet for a moment. So, we're not poor, she says finally. We just don't show off? Leon smiles faintly. We're rich in choices, he says. We choose a normal house. A used SUV. Mom's job helping people. We choose not to spend our lives proving anything to people who only see labels. Noah leans his head back. I still wish I got one of those cheesecakes, he mutters. I laugh, the sound surprising all of us. Next weekend, I say. We'll make our own. Better ones. As the miles slide by and the night deepens, I watch my kids slowly unclench. Lily kicks off her poor people's shoes and curls up, denim jacket as a blanket. Noah hums along to some song on the radio. Leon's hand finds mine on the console and stays there. Malibu is behind us. Our messy, ordinary, fiercely protected life in Colorado is ahead. And for the first time in a long time, that feels like enough. Have you ever been treated like you were second-rate by your own family or secretly underestimated because of how you look or where you live? Please write your own story in the comments below. And if this story touched something in you, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. See you in the next video.